warned me about it. He said, "Go in there, I'm gonna tell you about this and that." Talked to him about it yet, but I'm finding out what kind of trouble it was. All right.
It's 6 o'clock.
Yep, sure is.
He's still back there. Call the meeting to order. Everyone, would you mind doing the invocation?
Sure.
Everyone, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for all the blessings that you've given us. Dear Lord, we ask your blessing on this council this evening, on this town. Dear Lord, be with us and lead us and guide us and grant us your wisdom. Dear Lord, we thank you for all the many things that you've done for us. Dear Lord, we ask your forgiveness and dear Lord, we hope that you'll be with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Here.
Bunch is absent. Daniels,
Here.
Duff,
Here.
Templin.
Here. Okay, approval of minutes of the February 20th council meeting. Anyone have any comments or discussion in regards to the February minutes? There be no discussion or comment. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the February 20th meeting as written?
I'll make the motion, sir.
Councilman Gillum's made the motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Councilman Daniels, second. You call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye.
Duff,
Aye.
Templin.
Aye. Recognize citizens, guests, and visitors. Do I have anyone with anything to come before the board tonight? Okay, nothing to come before the board. Mayor's report. Something I should have had you add to the mayor's report, and I have to go in on my phone and look at it. I text Representative Butler yesterday in regards to the signs for our two KIAs, and he had the schedule of when they were going to be voted on. I believe it's in May. So, okay. Library Board appointment. Miss Debbie Shaw, who has served as one of our, we have 2 seats on the Anderson County Library Board, which covers our library, Briceville, and Clinton. These are, I believe, 2-year appointments. Ms. Shaw is having to resign for health reasons. She's done a great job the last 2 years. It is on my plate to find someone to place in this position. I think it's a very important position. After careful consideration, I have approached Miss Christina Duff to fill this position on the board. And I make a motion to nominate Ms. Duff as our Rocky Top representative, one of our Rocky Top representatives to the Anderson County Library Board. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Councilman Daniels, second. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye.
Duff,
I abstain from voting.
Aye. Motion carries. Floodplain administrator appointment. We are required by, is this state of Tennessee, to have a floodplain administrator that, I actually can't tell you what the floodplain administrator does. I'm sure it's in regards to interface with the Corps of Engineers and the state in regards to properties we have. And if anybody's interested in what the floodplain is for this town, this map on this wall shows our floodplain, which kindly may be shocking to some people just how big it is. Anyone that has a residence inside that red area should have flood insurance. Property over on the island, are you in the floodplain? Okay. Do you have flood insurance?
No, sir.
Okay. I don't know if there's anybody in town that has the federal.
We had flood insurance at one time, but it's possible
Yeah.
it can't come out on it.
Uh,
My property, the flood insurance on my property is $3,000 a year. And when you add that up, it'll take 2 years for you to have to collect it.
Right. And that's just flood insurance, that's not homeowners, that's just,
flood insurance. Flood insurance is 2.5 times what my homeowner's policy is.
Yeah.
I've got $1 million liability.
I'm kind of something that we need to be looking at. A lot of areas around us have had some serious issues with the heavy rainfalls we've had and flooding. Since the Upper East Tennessee problems last year, we've really been looking at the creek and potential issues we have there. And we've looking at trying to get some additional funding. In the past, the Corps of Engineers has allocated funds for creek dredging and widening and maintenance. And we're looking in the future that possibly the same thing could happen again. And Mr. Tony Braden is who we're going to nominate for this position. He is our fire chief, be a good fit for this. Floods and emergencies kind of work hand in hand. But I make a motion, we appoint Anthony Braden as our floodplain administrator.
Second?
Councilman Gillum, second it. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye.
Duff,
Aye.
Timplin.
Aye.
Does anybody downstream other cities, if they don't take care of their floods, could it back us up?
What could back us up? If Norris Dam fails, it backs up.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen the maps for that. They won't let you see them anymore, but I've seen the maps. It backs up here. It backs up all the way to the White Cherry Bottom. Just give you an idea how far it goes.
Speaking of flooding, I have been told by 2 or 3 different people that there's some type of endangered weed or something in this creek that the Army Corps of Engineers will no longer dredge.
I've not heard any such thing like.
I haven't either.
Okay.
I met with them not too long ago.
Okay, I wanted to clarify that.
Well, and we talked to them about cutting the trees and the brush back out of there, and they were,
Yeah.
yes, they recommended getting that back.
Very much in favor of that.
Yeah, well, for years, they really kept it cut back. And I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe a rumor of such a thing, we quit doing maintenance. And we don't have the number of employees
That
in our public works that we had 30 years ago. And they used to use summer program people, back when they had the CETA program, did a lot of that creek maintenance. But we're doing a little more every year. Hopefully this year we'll get that much more done down there. This last rain event, I saw that creek was as high as I'd seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I judge everything by where it's at in the ball field.
Right,
You know,
right.
how far it gets into the ball field. And I've seen it all the way to the asphalt where the concession stands are at. It didn't get that far. It didn't get over into the field, but it was behind the bleachers. It was up behind the concrete bleachers.
It was on the walking trail in front of Joe's, and I believe it was
Yeah.
close to the walking trail at the other goalpost.
But that was we got 4 inches of rain Saturday and 0.1 inch Sunday. Okay, committee council member reports. Planning Commission, Councilman Gillum.
Planning Commission elected the chairman, vice chair, and the secretary. We also voted with the city councils to grant Joe Tackett, who's here, to put a structure on North Freeway. There's a few caveats to that property, but after discussing it with Harold and everybody here, I see no reason why he shouldn't be allowed to do whatever he wants to with his property up there. We tweaked and tweaked, every planning commission meeting, we tweak the wording for our tiny home ordinance. That has been tweaked, and we should, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, we should be close to having
I think so.
something. We should be close to having something, but if we don't get these tiny homes right, it's gonna bite us. So we tweaked on that, and we had some educational for the planning commission meeting that Harold gave us. That's it, I think.
Recreation Committee, you can just go over what we did today, this evening.
We discussed, reducing the number of people from 7 to 5. That carried through.
Yeah.
And then the public entry survey, working on bleachers, working on ball field stuff to make everything compliant. That's underway. Appointed new officers, chair, vice chairman, secretary. And then appointed Timothy Hatmaker for another 2 years.
Okay.
And the company.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and Nicole, okay, she was secretary.
Yeah, we appointed her for another 2 years.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay, sounds good. City Manager's report.
Sewer project is approximately 86% complete. Spring cleanup, we're gonna go on with spring cleanup to April the 11th. Since we just do it 3 days, and some of those days we don't get to do it, because Willie's having to do some help others, so we're gonna extend it to April the 11th. OSHA came, we had 2 findings, one at City Hall and one at the fire department. City Hall was, we had an antique paper cutter, didn't have safety on it, so. And the thing was, he was talking about paper cutters, and then walked over and said, "Oh, I see y'all don't have one either." We've got that fixed, we got a new one. Fire department is, they hadn't got fitted yet, so that's what he wrote up. Letters are being sent out for the commercial water and sewer insurance, which should take effect in June.
Okay.
Then Arbor Day will be next Friday on the 28th. I think they're gonna come here to go to the fire department, and then they'll meet at the library. And then the bond that y'all asked me to find out on as far as the funeral home. Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund was 5.31% for 12 years. USDA was 4.125%. That's all he sent. Tennessee Municipal Bond, they broke everything down on what each payment would be and everything. So that's where we are on that. And then we need to schedule a workshop, budget workshop. And I've got April 7th down at, that's on a Monday at 4 o'clock, if that would be okay.
It's in my box.
Said April 7th.
April 7th at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Would y'all be good with that?
Is there any way to move it to Fridays, or is that kind of,
You off on Fridays? I'm off on Mondays.
Yeah.
I'm off on Fridays also usually, but
that's all, that,
What time, is there a better time in the afternoon?
I can make things work, whatever
sure?
we need to do.
yeah, I can make it.
I can make Fridays work if,
Monday's fine. I'm okay with it.
I'm good with Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like we're good with 4 o'clock
Okay.
on the 7th.
Okay. That's all I've got.
Okay. We have one sewer adjustment, which is left over from January, a leak in January. These should be gone
Yeah.
now. And it's Miss Severs over on 4th Street. She had a leak. The adjustment was $50.49. Do I have a motion to approve the sewer adjustment for Miss Severs in the amount of $50.49?
I make a motion that we approve that.
Okay. Councilman
adjustment.
Daniels made a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Councilman Duff seconds. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
aye.
Daniels,
Aye?
Duff,
Aye.
Timlin.
All right. Monthly water loss report. 55%. Within house, it drops it to 43%. We've had a couple of bad leaks. We're still dealing with, leaks caused by the sewer project where they dig into one of our lines while they're doing their work. Hopefully that'll be winding down within the next month and a half. Police report. Chief?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hey, folks. For February, your police department effected 30 arrests. They conducted 181 traffic stops. Out of those, they issued 63 citations and 40 written warnings. They completed 54 incident reports and attended to 645 calls for service. We had another month with no overdoses.
Another good month.
For personnel, Officer Henderson graduated from Walter State, the Basic Police Academy in Morristown on Thursday. He's on a little bit of a leave. He's relocated his family from Wisconsin back here where he's from, and then he'll start his field training. Officer Dustin Hensley resigned in good standing. He left us to go to Roane County Sheriff's Office. We've posted a vacancy announcement looking for a certified officer, and we're conducting interviews at this time. We haven't selected anyone yet. For our grants, there have been no changes. For our internal procedures and equipment, we've been working on our policies and procedures further this last month. We've got 18 policies that we published and updated 2 of our previously published ones to get them in line with the accreditation program. We're still working through the leftover evidence from retired Chief Shetterly's era. There were 720 items there. I've gotten all but about 40 of those pipelined as far as whether we need to retain them for court or get a destruction order from the court, or if we can just outright dispose of them. For accreditation, we reached our 3rd milestone, the 9-month mark. Our critical policy drafts were reviewed by our mentor agency, Lenoir City Police Department, and found to be acceptable and that our progress is satisfactory. For training, we had Officer McClurg this week supposed to go to instructor development. However, he got sick and wasn't able to complete that, so we'll be rescheduling that. We had a lot of cases of significance to inform the council about. We had some counterfeit money going around at Dollar General Market, copies of $50 and $100 bills. The officers got these and sent them into Secret Service. They're very good quality. Looking at them, the texture, the color, everything's very, very good quality, so want our businesses to be aware of that. Drugs that were encountered in the field of prescription drugs, marijuana and methamphetamine. We had a burglary at Lake City Elementary School. Deputy Chief McGee investigated that and identified suspects and recovered most of the property very quickly. We had a reckless or intentional arson that occurred at the vacant house at 904 South Main Street. We responded out there with fire, still investigating that, but so far nothing of note to report on yet. There was a scam at Casey's, which I think is the Volunteer Times or La Follette Press, one of the Campbell County news outlets, put on Facebook that it was a robbery, which concerned some people, but it was not a robbery. It was a scam where some people came in and confused the clerk to get money put onto some gift cards so that they got away with about $1,500. No violence, no threat of violence, nothing of the sort of a robbery. I think they may have picked that up from listening to the radio scanner. We had several serious assaults that we went to and investigated and made arrests on, including a fist fight resulted in serious injuries up on 116, some threats with firearms, and a serious injury with a baseball bat. For our budget, we're about 70% through and about 70% expended. We're less than 1% over that. I categorized for tracking how well we're doing with our budget in two parts, one with personnel costs, one with non-personnel, which is our equipment, training, vehicles, fuel, so on and so forth. The personnel costs are under projections in the mainly because we've had a vacancy, and then earlier in the year having a deputy chief off on leave. For the non-personnel costs, our vehicle maintenance is
As normal.
costing us quite a bit, and then our uniforms is the other one that was above projections. Can I answer any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Fire report for the month of February. They responded to 26 EMS calls, one structure fire, that's the old Fannie Wheeler, Dottie Dunn property down here across from the old hospital. One trash fire, 2 false alarms, 1 hazardous material incident, 2 lift assist, 6 motor vehicle accidents, 7 service calls, 1 mutual aid call, 5 police assist, for a total of 52 calls for the month of February. That puts us up to 90 calls for the fire department this calendar year. Public Works report. Garbage, 47 tons of garbage for the month of February, 6 tons of brush. Been burning brush. If you notice any smoke over behind the ball field from the Sharp property, that's not homeless with a barbecue, that's the city burning brush. We're burning a lot of brush over there now. Clean ditches behind the library and Johnson Street. You're gonna be seeing more of that, especially we have some catch basin replacement and drain tile replacements. It's gonna be going around town this spring. Patch potholes, took a safety test. What was that? Mike?
Thinking.
You're thinking? Okay. That wasn't part of the CDL.
No, they was all here, what was that test? I was a little late that day.
That wasn't ditching. Was it?
No, I can't remember what it was.
Okay. Well, what?
Yeah, they did the Title VI. It's the same day they did the Title VI. It might have been, I can't remember.
Okay. Well, they took the test. It's a good thing. Cleaned out, worked in the concession stand at the ball field, dragged the ball fields, getting the restrooms ready. We're still gonna have at least one more good freeze, so I know that's coming. They received a storage container, a 40-foot shipping container that they placed over at Public Works. They worked on the roof of it, sealing it up. They're putting a lot of the items that they used to store in the garage in the way. The small lawnmowers, small tractors, and other miscellaneous equipment that everybody's falling over in the floor have been moved out to that shipping container. And we have 4 employees continuing their commercial driver's license classes. We'll finally get through with that. That's definitely gonna pay off for us. Water and sewer report, wastewater plant treated 23,519,000 gallons of domestic wastewater. Had a lot processed, and if you were out during the heavy rain last Saturday, you probably saw some manholes overflowing when you had them. And I don't, Jacob, and I've talked to Mikey about this, and I'd like to know what it is. I don't know that we'll ever be able to arrive at that number, but no city can entirely eliminate overflows. But there should be we can look at a rain event. We've got 3 inches of rain. Well, at 2 inches, we're gonna have overflows. Doesn't matter what we do. At 1 inch, we're gonna have overflows. At 5 inches, I don't know. I'd like to know what that number is, and I don't know if we could ever accurately arrive at it.
We can model that and come up with that.
Yeah, I'd like to know, what to expect. When somebody says something about an overflow, well, we're kind of engineered for up to 2 inches. Anything over 2 inches, it's gonna happen. There's no way around it.
I don't know what the inch number is, but it's a 2-year, 24-hour storm, and that is the state criteria of what you design gravity sewer around.
Well, it seems like we're having those 2-year storms about every 3 weeks now. The amount of these heavy rainfalls.
With the upgrade to our system, is that we could
Our
handle more
sewer,
volume?
our sewer plant operator, Mikey Faust, says it's better than it was, and he can look at the numbers, what our normal flow is somewhere around, 280 to 325 a day?
Dry weather.
On a normal day, we should have anywhere from 260 to 325,000 gallons of sewage pass through our plant. In these heavy rainfall events, it'll bust way over, and I didn't ask him what the numbers were for the weekend, but he's over 1 million in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think the peak flow the plant saw last year was a little over 2 million gallons.
The plant is designed for what, about 950 to 1 million?
950 is the design flow. Standard peaking factors, you shoot for a factor of 4. So if you're seeing 300,000 gallons during dry weather, you're supposed to be able to handle 1.2 during wet. Peaking factor before any of the work that's ongoing now happened, we were seeing peaking factors of 10 to 12. We're assuming a reduction of flow of anywhere from 30 to 50%. We'll confirm that once construction starts.
That's good. That's good. Did they lose a pump? You know anything about that?
No, they did not.
I thought it got flooded out.
I don't think so. I think Frank said yesterday that they got it out.
Okay. Well, David Hughes said all he could see was the exhaust pipe sticking out of the water, so I don't know. It's a rental, so
Well, that's what I was.
rentals are tougher than anything else.
That's what I was curious about, that rental. Where
You
it
know,
was-
it is a rental, and this is on the contractor too. This isn't our pump. This is on the contractor. Okay, they made a 4-inch tap on 116, jetted 7 lines, raised 1 manhole. This was a manhole, one of those mystery manholes that we knew we had it, but nobody knew where it was at. They found it, right? There was one on 116 where the crossover
Yes.
is, out in that field.
See it, Gary.
Huh?
It's behind our apartments, that creek.
Looks flooded from here.
Yeah.
They got it out though.
They
Okay,
got,
yeah.
they was able to get it out Monday.
I hope they cleaned it up enough where the rental company doesn't recognize that that thing's been drowned. Well, that's probably about a $35,000 pump. Financial report.
You can look, drug fund, the revenue for February was $1,053. Street aid fund, total revenue is 51%, expenses is about 66%. That's for the lights, electric. General fund, we're at, revenue is at 69%. And if you look at all the expenses, everybody's pretty good. We've still not corrected the fire yet, but we're working on that. And then, water is, revenue is at 70% in water, 74% in sewer. And then, you got the sewer collections is way over, and so is the sewer treatment. Well, so is administration in general. We spent a lot of money.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on pumps. Not pumps drowned in the creek either, but pumps in our lift station. We've got a bad run of pumps at the main lift station down here. That's killing us. It's killing us.
Does the city see the insurance money coming from the water and the water and sewer? Or does that go to the insurance?
That's the insurance company that, basically all we do. I'm assuming we cut them, we do a draft every month to them. Yeah,
About $3,000, I think.
yeah,
Okay.
When assigned.
yeah. Ordinances and resolutions. First reading, ordinance 603, budget amendment. Whereas City of Rocky Top adopted fiscal year July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025, amended budget by passage of ordinance number 585 on 16 May 2024, pursuant to Tennessee State Constitution, Section 1, 2, no public money shall be expended except pursuant to appropriations made by law, and whereas pursuant to the Municipal Budget Law 1982, in Tennessee Code 656, TAC 209, City Council, City of Rocky Top, has the authority to authorize the budget officer to transfer monies from one appropriation to another within the same fund. Whereas specific line item expenses for the drug fund, general government fund, water and sewer fund will be greater than or less than anticipated and be enacted by the City of Rocky Top, City Council of Rocky Top, Tennessee, that ordinance number 585 is hereby amended by increasing the following line item expenses for the drug fund budget by, $9,000 total. Is that correct?
Yes.
The, Section 2, ordinance 585 is hereby amended by increasing the following line item revenues with the general government budget fund. This is the volunteer firefighter equipment grant in the amount of $70,000. They have, and I don't know if this grant is what they got the breathing air system on? Okay. We got a new breathing air system that they use to fill their SCBA, the packs the firemen wear on their back. Really nice compressor system that they're having installed over there in the fire hall. Okay, also increasing the following line item revenues for the water fund budget. This is the ARC and SRF grants and the TDEC ARPA funds.
We probably need to put water and sewer fund.
Say again?
We probably up there at the title need to put water and sewer fund.
Yeah, because it
Because
just
it's
says
just the
water
sewer,
fund budget.
yes.
Just says water fund budget. And the CDBG grant, total of $6,131,000. And ordinance number 585 is hereby amended by increasing the following line item expenses for the water fund budget. This is a CDBG project, wastewater system rehab, TDEC grant, ARC grant, and SRF fund for a total of $308,000. Do I have any questions in regards to this budget amendment? And several of these are just the grant funds being allocated to be paid out.
Yes.
for the sewer project. There's nothing on the plant that end yet, is there? This is all the in situ project that's going on right now. Okay, there be no questions or discussions in regards to ordinance number 603. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on its first reading with the change under section 4 and section 5 where it says water fund budget to change to water and sewer budget?
I'll make the motion with the change.
Okay, Councilman Gillum's made the motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye.
Dove,
Aye.
Timplin.
Aye. Ordinance 604. This is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Rocky Top, Tennessee by amending Article 7, provisions governing use district, section 704.1 to add single-family dwelling. What this is doing, 704.1 in our zoning ordinance allows in C1, general commercial district, multifamily dwellings. We are amending that definition to also allow single-family dwellings. We're already allowing multifamily because we have a request to place a single-family dwelling in C1. You're already allowing multifamily dwellings. What,
This is what I spoke of earlier. We discussed at the planning commission.
the planning commission recommends that we approve this ordinance.
The lot itself is surrounded by residential. There's not enough road footage as required by the state for commercial business. If a
Well, it's
commercial-
also, the property's not big enough to put a multifamily
Exactly.
dwelling
If
on it.
if a business wanted to come on there, they would have to buy multiple properties. And so with the property where it's at, we agreed that, he should be able to allow to put a single-family home there.
And to do that would require us to add single-family dwelling as being permitted for use in the C1 general commercial district. It will state now in 704.1, single-family dwellings and multifamily dwellings are allowed in C1 general commercial district. Any questions or discussion? There may be no questions or discussion. Do I have a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 604?
I'll make the motion, sir.
Okay, Councilman Gillum's made the motion. I'll second the motion. Call roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye.
Dove,
Aye.
Timplin.
Aye. Okay, second and final reading. This is ordinance number 600. Picked up the wrong one here. This is the slum clearance ordinance. It was approved on the first reading. This is, we've had slum clearance ordinances in the past. This is just updating what was originally in our ordinances. Anyone have any discussion or comment on the slum clearance ordinance number 600? There be no comments. Do I have a motion to approve on the second reading ordinance number 600, slum clearance and redevelopment?
I make a motion to approve ordinance
Okay.
600.
Councilman Daniels has made the motion. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, Councilman Duff, second. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye.
Duff,
Aye.
Templin.
Aye. Ordinance 601 on the second reading. This ordinance is to reduce the number of seats on the Parks and Recreation Committee. Currently, it is 6. Currently it's 7. We're gonna reduce it to 5, reason being, they have a hard enough time getting a quorum at 5, let alone 7. That goes from 3 to, the quorum now is 4. If we reduce it to 5 members, then the quorum drops to 3. It's a lot easier to get 3 people here than it is 4.
I'll make the motion, sir.
Okay, Councilman Gillum's made the motion to approve ordinance number 601 on the second reading. Do I have a second?
I second.
Councilman Daniels, second. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye.
Duff,
Aye.
Templin.
Aye. Adoption of resolutions. Okay, is this the Boys and Girls Club?
Yes. They're wanting to demo the old school building.
The Boys and Girls Club owns the old school over on
Sixth Street.
Sixth, yes.
Sixth, yeah.
Sixth Street. And they're going to demolish that school. Does this say what they want to do with it? With the property?
No.
Do we need to vote on this?
I just thought y'all might need to know it.
There's some history with that old building.
That's why, they,
Yeah.
probably needs to vote on it, be in the minutes.
Yeah.
Somebody says something.
That was the black school for Lake City back in the day. And then it was the kindergarten
Yes.
for years.
Oh, yeah.
I think I went to kindergarten there.
Did you go there?
I think so.
Yeah.
I know my son did.
I remember them walking them over to the elementary school to eat. When I was in elementary school, yeah. You'd see the little ruffians, there'd be a train of them coming, and that was in the rain and snow and everything. They'd march them over to the elementary school and feed them and march them back. Kids were tough back then.
Oh, yeah, really.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be a little history right there.
Huh?
I think that'd be a little history right there.
There's a, yeah, that is something that just nobody knows about anymore, and it's just kind
I've
of,
got a question. Why are they demoing it?
I think it's in bad shape.
Is it?
It probably
I
is.
I look at it all the
And
time.
nobody's been in it for years, and you know
Right.
how it deteriorates.
wonder if there's a plaque on that building.
I'm sure.
I don't know when it was,
I know they use that new building out there beside
the
it.
metal building,
Right.
yeah.
And, I guess
I
that's-
don't know if they're wanting to extend or what.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm curious about is, you know, why they want to demo it. But,
Did they acquire that from the city or?
No, we never owned it. It was.
Oh, county.
It was county, it was
Okay.
county building.
is there any explanation with why they wanted to demo it? Is there,
I'd say this, the condition of the building.
Yeah.
it's just because it's in such a.
The condition of the building. I'd like to find out if there's a plaque in that building. Even though we don't own it or anything. It's one of those, yeah, it's just funny. Nah, I ain't going there.
Take one last tour through it or something, or?
Yeah.
I look at it every day. I mean, it's right outside my
Right.
bedroom window.
Well, I remember when it was in use, as a kindergarten. And then they built the little Butler building beside it. And we had a lot of kids in this town. It had to, that kindergarten wasn't big enough. But, I don't know how to phrase a motion here.
Is it near the Boys and Girls Club now?
Say again?
The building, is it near the Boys and Girls Club that's there now?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's the brick right next to it.
They're in the metal building, right?
It's got windows and stuff out of it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in pretty sad repair.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I've seen them out there working on it years ago and working on the roof and stuff, and none of that's happened in quite some time. There hadn't done anything.
Just be interested if it's just to maybe do something more for the Boys and Girls Club or
Yeah.
something.
I'd like to know when it was built. It should have been in the 50s. It was built. But, I don't know, I'll make a motion to allow the Boys and Girls Club to demolish, the old kindergarten building, on Sixth Street.
Would that have to go through the county or anything, if it's a county?
No, I think they gave it to it's Boys and Girls Club, they gave it to the Boys and Girls. Club.
Okay.
She just came here, and I said, well, let me take it
Yeah.
for city council, just in
We-
case.
yeah,
Anybody
we-
was to say something, then.
We really don't
council
have a
knows
dog
about
in it, but they're asking for our approval.
Yeah, okay.
So,
So,
I make a motion to grant approval to the Boys and Girls Club to demolish the old, kindergarten.
I second.
Okay. Councilman Daniels, second. Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye.
Duff,
Aye.
Timken.
Aye. Boys and Girls. Morgan Contracting Extension Request. This is a request from Morgan Construction, who is the ones that have the sanitary sewer rehabilitation project. They are requesting an extension due to unforeseen delays. These delays greatly impacted our progress throughout the project thus far. Experienced delays from a number of issues such as weather, dealing with TDOT, bypassing, and pump station issues. They are asking for an extension of 21 calendar days to make up for lost time. What is their official end date?
Substantial completion is March 27th.
March 27th?
Is contract done.
Okay. For some reason I had, April in my head.
That would be the final.
They have added information here in regards to the rain, and it's kind of neat to have. Rain days and how much rain was received on those days. And any heavy rainfall event definitely has impacted them. Not only with additional flows in the sewer system that they're trying to correct, but just generally, all their work is out in the weather. And they have also listed, the contractual documents. Do you have any discussion on granting them a 21 calendar day extension?
Are they still within budget and stuff? Are they still within budget or
It's their budget, not ours. So, if they're in the toilet on what they've spent,
Okay.
That's on them.
okay, so 21 additional days wouldn't affect,
No.
okay,
Won't affect
Time
us.
extension, not a,
Won't affect us. It's just, we're gonna have them around for a few more weeks longer to do this. We could hold their feet to the fire. I've been out there with them a lot in these bad weather events. I know what they've dealt with. They're not making this up. May attribute some of the need for an extension to poor planning in some places, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. The weather's cost them a lot of time. Weather's cost them a lot of time.
Well, as long as it does not become a habit, I'd rather give them the extra 21 days
To
than,
get it done right?
than them start cutting corners to meet the timeline.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's
Because it can, I mean, we can start sticking them with penalties for running over, but I think giving them 21 days. Now, if they start running over the 21 days, we'll need to have a little
This
different
is the first-
discussion here.
This is the first extension
But,
they've asked for.
Yes.
Okay.
So do I have an emotion to grant Morgan Contracting an additional 21-day calendar days?
Should there be any wording that says after 21 days, fines and penalties can occur, or?
No,
That's in the
those are
contract.
already in the contract.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, those are already in the contract.
Penalty clause, I'm sure.
I'll read this, right, and this is from our engineer firm. Morgan Contracting is expecting to exceed the substantial completion deadline of March 27th and has requested a 21-day extension to complete the remaining work. Cannon believes this additional time is justified based on weather-related delays documented by Morgan, as well as the provisions outlined in section 4.05C and 4.05D of the general conditions regarding unanticipated delays in different site conditions. And that's another thing, I've been involved in different site conditions. What everyone thought was in the ground there, and when they peeled the onion back and found out there was something different in the ground, that has caused some significant delays. And that's happened more than once. While the city has a contractual right to enforce liquidated damages, which would total $10,500 for the 21-day extension, Anna County recommends approving the extension without penalties. The administrative and legal costs associated with enforcing, and I don't, I recommend we grant the extension.
I do too, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Call the roll, please.
Gillum,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye?
Duff,
Aye.
Sedgwick.
Aye. Do I have anything else to come before the board?
Tax sales. That has really stuck with me, that we're not,
Oh, yeah.
we're missing out on this. And what, I'm a firm believer that we need to do whatever we have to do to be able to start selling some of these properties.
I agree.
I'll speak with the city attorney.
Well, originally, we thought we were gonna be able to go in with the city of Oak Ridge because they were wanting to do it themselves too, and for some reason that fell off
They decided not to.
they backed out. I don't understand why.
Well, when there's people in this town that's paying their county taxes and not paying city taxes, because they know the county will foreclose, or whatever the term is, I don't think it's foreclosed, but
Enforced, right.
we're missing out on a lot of money.
I agree.
Either these people
And
need to start paying their
it allows-
taxes.
Right, it allows
or-
people to be scofflaws and not
Exactly.
pay their taxes while the person next door is having to pay it every year.
Exactly.
Doing the
You're-
right thing.
We're on the same level here.
I totally agree. And we need to find out what it's gonna take for us to be able to do that ourselves.
That has stuck with me. The more I think about it, the madder I get.
Yeah, me too. And we're out, there's probably several $100,000 hanging out there that's owed us. We're having a penny pinch to buy a set of tires for a public works truck while somebody's sitting on thousands of dollars of unpaid taxes. That's not right.
I'm surprised something like that's not already implemented.
Well, we let the county handle all of it. The property assessors, the process that works through down there with the property assessor's office. And as a result, we're not priority. That makes sense. We're not the priority there. And then another side effect to allowing them to do that, if they sell a property for, let's say we have a piece of property here in town that has went back for back taxes. And, they owe the county a couple $1,000, they owe us a couple $1,000. And the county sells that property and they get $15,000 out of it. We get our $2,000, the county gets all the rest. It gets to keep it in our town. I don't like that.
But there's nothing in that.
Now, if we were doing it, if we were performing the sale, then any additional revenues after paying the county what was owed them in back property taxes, we would get to, it would go into our general fund. And not only that, it was also, it would, we have properties here that have went over 10 years.
My understanding, yeah.
10 years, haven't paid
10
city
years
property
is
taxes
always
in 10
good.
years.
After 10 years, you just leave.
It starts falling off,
Yeah.
yeah. We have people that haven't paid their city property taxes in over 10 years, but they pay their county taxes every year, so it doesn't go to sale. They just thumb their nose at us.
I guess how is that?
Because we don't have a mechanism in place
Okay.
to, and I don't know what it requires us to do, but we need to find out what it is and do it. Where we can, okay, you've not paid your taxes in 3 years. And we've got Mayor Stevenson out there auctioning the place off. And that would, probably encourage a lot of these folks to pay their taxes.
Pay their taxes or sell or.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is, I mean, if we can motivate them to do what they're supposed to do, you know, either sell it or they're just sitting on it, it's what they're doing.
I've spoken to folks in other communities around us, and they don't have the problems we have with people paying their property taxes. I mean, they may have $10,000 hanging out there over a city our size in unpaid taxes. You know, we got well over 100,000. It's people just won't pay, just won't pay.
It's high time we put a little teeth in that.
I agree. I totally agree. We're all on the same page here.
Correct me if I'm
We just
wrong,
need to
Mayor.
figure out how to make it happen. We don't know how.
Well, yeah, we need to pursue it, you know, in a proper fashion, but, yeah, we need to put a little.
There's some of these properties here in town. What's the word I'm looking for? They live out of state. Absentee, thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
That Tony's not even been able to identify where they're at.
That's that issue too, yeah.
I got a TML notice, there's a pending bill. This kind of sort of answers to some of that. There's a bill pending, I don't remember if it's before the Senate or the House down there right now, in Nashville, to require, owners of rental properties, and I believe if they're not occupants of the property, they're required to notify the municipality or the county that the property's in, and with the, it's kind of a contact information. Right. So, make it a lot easier for somebody like Tony to run these people down, because right now, we may have a name and an address in Syracuse, New York, but that's all we have. And it's not like you can get on the white pages or the yellow pages anymore and run people down. That doesn't exist. But there's a bill pending in Nashville to make that, and I believe if they don't, they have to pay $10 to get their little permit. And if they don't pay, it's like a $50 fine. Or if they don't do it, we can fine them $50. Okay.
It's a statewide bill.
Yes, statewide, correct. And after the meeting, I'll go get my phone and pull it up and look at it. I'll show it to you. But it said to contact a representative. I believe Yeager was on even though he's not our representative, he's good to us. But Yeager was on the committee. But if have nothing else to come before the board, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.